Hello, everyone. My name is Brianna Nave, and I serve as the Communications Manager here at the Maryland Office of the Public Defender. Today marks more than just the launch of a new initiative, but it also marks a commitment by the Maryland Office of the Public Defender, by community leaders, and by those of us who work on this every day inside the justice system to do something we have not done well enough in the past. Move from acknowledging harm and actually changing it. Thank you, and I will now pass the mic over to Maryland Public Defender Natasha Izzard.
Thank you. Thank you all who are joining here today for our announcement. I am Natasha Darchi, Maryland Public Defender, and I proudly announce that the Maryland Office of the Public Defender is launching the Maryland Justice Partnership. It is the implementation framework that is designed to turn criminal justice reform recommendations into action. This is not just a study. It is not another task force. It is a coordinated effort bringing together state agencies, community organizations, service providers, and justice advocates to implement specific policy changes that will address mass incarceration and the racial disparities in Maryland's criminal legal system. This partnership will build on the work of the Maryland Equitable Justice Collaborative, which delivered 18 recommendations in March of last year. Now we will move from recommendations to actual results. Why is this important? The Maryland General Assembly is going to convene in approximately 2 days. We have new leadership in Annapolis and a window of opportunity to turn recommendations into actionable steps. The Maryland Equitable Justice Collaborative delivered 18 recommendations last year, and several of them became law. Some passed, some didn't. This session, we cannot afford to stall again. The MJP, as we will call it, Maryland Justice Partnership, launches now because we need coordinated implementation as bills move through committee. Piecemeal reform does not work. We need sustained pressure, aligned advocacy, and accountability across agencies to ensure that what passes actually gets implemented. There is a crisis here in Maryland. Maryland ranks second in the nation behind only Alabama in automatically charging children as adults. 81% of those children are Black, though Black residents make up only 30% of Maryland's population. 85% of those cases are ultimately dismissed or transferred back to juvenile court. Maryland's overall prison population is 71% Black. These are some of the failures we see in Maryland. We have spent decades and decades studying the problem. We now have a report that speaks to the problem. Now we are taking the next step to move to action. The Maryland Justice Partnership is important because it is shifting from analysis to action at the exact moment where change is possible. New leadership means new opportunities, but opportunity without coordination is wasted. So we are launching MJP now to ensure that this particular legislative session also delivers results, not simply more promises. How will MJP benefit Marylanders? On several points. Point number one, public safety. Real public safety does not come from incarcerating. It definitely doesn't come from incarcerating children at a young age. It comes from evidence-based interventions, properly resourced systems, and keeping families intact. Why is MJP also important to Marylanders? Because it is signifying fiscal responsibility. Maryland wastes approximately $120,000 per child in the automatic charging of children. And this is in light of the fact that approximately 85% of the cases are ultimately dismissed or transferred. Maryland is also at risk of losing federal funding if we don't reform how we treat our children. These are resources that can go toward mental health services, education, and job programs, things that actually do reduce crime. Another way that this will benefit Marylanders is through racial equity. Black Marylanders are disproportionately arrested, convicted, and sentenced. MJP centers impacted communities in the solutions and works to end the policies that have devastated Black Americans and Black families for decades. A fourth point on which this would benefit Marylanders is through accountability. Unlike past efforts, MJP has infrastructure, coordination, and sustained commitment. The Office of the Public Defender sees the consequences of system failures every single day in the courtroom. We are well positioned to ensure reform efforts translate into real world change beyond reports. There are significant impact areas that includes ending the automatic charging of children as adults, reducing pretrial detention for minor charges, reforming parole and probation practices, expanding diversion and treatment programs, as well as addressing the root causes of crime rather than only punishment. The bottom line for Marylanders is this: safer communities, smarter use of tax dollars, and a system that treats people, especially children, with the dignity while holding people accountable in ways that actually work. So OPD is launching the Maryland Justice Partnership to essentially end the cancer of a mass incarceration that continues to plague Maryland. At this time, I would like to introduce OPD Director of Strategic Reform, Kirsten Downs, who will take the lead in terms of the MJP initiative.
Good morning. Implementation is the hardest part of reform. It requires coordination without centralization, leadership without overreach, and sustained attention after long public conversations about this issue. And MJP was created to address those challenges, to provide structure that supports action, accountability, and transparency, while respecting the autonomy of agencies and organizations that are already doing the work. MJP will be coordinated into what we're calling hubs, implementation hubs. They will address the areas that were addressed in the recommendations, bringing together state agencies where there's a natural fit and where the recommendations align with their values and their work, bringing together community voices and community information as to what real works in the real world, as well as bringing together those impacted people who can inform whether policies are geared directly towards fighting the mass incarceration issues that we seek to address. The 6 hubs are community safety and crisis response, pretrial justice and diversion, behavioral health justice, sentencing and parole reform, community reintegration and stability, youth justice, and educational equity. Each hub is designed to operate in the intersection of authority, practice, and lived experience. No single institution can solve these issues alone, and none are being asked to. Each hub brings together the agencies, community organizations, and subject matter experts who already are in this work. They're not advisory groups. Hubs are expected to develop work plans, identify barriers, test solutions, and track progress. The Office of the Public Defender will act as a coordinating body, providing structure, timelines, and transparency, but it does not direct or control the work. Participating agencies will retain full authority over their decisions and operations. Across all 6 hubs, the structure will be the same. Agencies will retain authority, communities will share leadership, and the partnership will provide coordination and accountability. Some work has already started. Some bills have been passed that address the recommendations, but what we're looking for is to implement those changes. For example, geriatric, parole, the Second Look Act, all need to go that step further where implementation can affect real world change. MOP will not sit on the sidelines of this single policy decision or these single initiatives. We will present across jurisdictions, systems. We will see the cumulative impact of how policies operate in practice. And that position allows us to serve as conveners and focus not on ownership, but on alignment and outcomes. Our responsibility are to our clients and the broader public, give us a strong interest in ensuring that reform efforts translate into real world change. The Maryland Justice Partnership reflects this commitment, the coordination without control, leadership without overreach, and shared focus around results. We will be reaching out to those state agencies to see how they want to become involved, to see how their partnership can make real action take place, to see what programs they already have in place that can feed into this initiative. We will work together to bring the people to the table, the organizations to the forefront that can really put issues into action. With this coordination, we believe we are in the best position to make those recommendations become real. Implementation is values made visible, and we want to make sure that the values of reducing mass incarceration, community voices in public initiatives, as well as working together to actually make change that has been going on for centuries, that we are in position to be able to move those needles in those areas. And so the Maryland Justice Partnership is just a coordinated effort, but it's also a commitment to change. It's a commitment that reflects the belief that systems can do better when they work together, and that implementation, when done with care and accountability, is in itself an act of justice.
Thank you. We do have a few minutes if there are any questions.
How does this interact with the original 18? The AG's office involved in this effort?
So we are reaching out to all of the agencies that can have real world impact in those recommendations. The hubs are designed to fit around each of the recommendations. Each recommendation has been put under one of those hub categories, and the goal initially is to make sure that we're moving forward with those recommendations, but they have been agreed upon with the partners and those that have already been really committed to this work. And so we're not trying to reinvent the wheel, we're transitioning from that research, from that understanding of the situation that Maryland currently is in, to implementation or reform.
What other agencies have reached out?
So we've reached out to the Department of Education, we've reached out to the Department of Corrections, Department of Health, the Department of Labor. All of those agencies had at some point been originally involved in the MAJC, and so we want to make sure that their input is continued into the implementation. And in many cases, a lot of the programs that have been recommended in those recommendations will take place under the auspices of those agencies.
I would also add the Secretary of the Department of Juvenile Services. We are expecting her to be part of the launch event today, as well as the Secretary, she'll also be joining us today.
In addition to the implementation, we will also need evaluation and assessment as to whether this is the track that is going to get us to where we want to go. And so we've also included academic partners, and we've cast a wider net. And so we have received commitments from Bowie State, as well as Morgan State University, and we have received commitments from the University of Maryland as well.
I thought I saw him working, going to be there. Will University of Baltimore also be an academic
Yes,
partner?
University
Yes,
of Baltimore.
University of Baltimore.
Figured she wasn't going
Yes. Now we,
Oh, go ahead.
the work, the central part of the work is continued. It's taking it to the next phase. And many of those who have worked with us before in coming together with the recommendations are continuing with us as we go to the implementation phase. So you will, if you stay this afternoon, you will see several familiar faces.
Just a quick follow-up. I know it's gonna take a while to get reports, data summarized. Is there a preliminary goal of when you'd like to release some type of report for the public? I don't know if you want, thinking of wanting to do one before the session ends, so lawmakers will see it.
I don't know about a report as it is, but our goal is to, in the winter and into the spring, get it up and running. And really get a sense of assessing where we are with the recommendations in terms of, are we starting from scratch? Are we adding to something that already exists? Or are we really evaluating something that already exists? I think we'll be able to have preliminary answers to those questions in the spring or summertime.
All right, well, thank you, and I invite you to stay for the launch event that will start at 12:30, so in about 25 minutes or so, where you'll have the opportunity to hear from some of our supporters and partners, as well as get more in-depth information in regards to what MJP seeks to do and what it looks like in the coming months.